Facebook. Be with you in just a second.
Hi, Facebook.
15 seconds.
I'm not in jail right now, too.
No, 5 seconds.
I'm out of jail.
How long have you been out of jail?
Oh, about a week and a half. I've done some damage.
Well, good. Finally, Friday morning. It's 4
Check
minutes
mark
past the
there.
hour.
I know there
45
wasn't.
degrees. Can you guys be quiet for a second?
No.
And it's time for your hometown movie guys on Kieran's Community Spotlight. We have Tina, Craig, and Andy with us in the studio, all in their places with bright, shining faces.
A little unruly this morning.
Oh.
Which is not that much different than any morning,
No
actually.
one can stop us.
Yeah. But, at any rate, talking about all the great things going on at the Sawmill Theaters, and of course, things really, getting back into a good groove again. And one of the new things that I know you've got going on today is you got some special movies for the kids today.
Yeah, for the kids. We've had I'm not really sure why, but Hollywood has not really put out any new kids movies for quite a while now.
Well, they've been busy complaining about politics.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there. It's kind of getting to be a bit of a problem, though.
Right.
So we're bringing back some kids classics.
Cool.
And what we're doing is 2 o'clock. We'll be doing Surf's Up, and then
Surf's Up, dudes.
and then at 6 o'clock we'll be doing Happy Feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're going with a penguin theme here for
Right.
I don't know. It's cold outside, I guess. So that's.
Yep. And Happy Feet, by the way, as you might recall, out there in Radioland, the same director did Happy Feet that did all 4 of the Mad Max movies.
And what a...
But
Whoa.
he didn't get an Academy Award for any of the Mad Max movies, but he did get an Academy Award for Happy Feet.
and what a...
Isn't that
a
weird?
A major contrast between the two. I mean, that Mad Max and Happy Feet.
Yeah, plus the guy's
Total
a doctor.
violence.
Well,
He's a licensed physician.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Oh, I had
but
no idea.
the other part, we're doing these movies for just $2.
You're kidding?
$2?
$2?
$2.
So the
You
kids
go
are...
see Happy Feet for $2?
$2.
Oh, come on.
and this is the last weekend before the kids go back to in-person learning in the
Yes.
Mason Unified School
Yeah, for
District
how
anyway.
long is that?
So, that's another issue. But the bottom line, hey, maybe
Well,
fun to get out today and aim for $2.
I think some of the school gets out, I believe at 1:30.
Right,
We're 1:30 right there, so you got time to get the kids and
right.
bring them down there and watch a
Let
film.
them over
It's,
there.
Yeah. So,
Very cool.
And these are good, healthy movies.
Surf's Up is one of my favorite
It's
animated films. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good. A great soundtrack to it, some good music, and yeah, it's a fun and it's kind of an uplifting.
Sure.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Outstanding. And again, at 1 o'clock,
2 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, you
Yep.
get in for $2.
$2.
$2.
When's that start?
It starts today.
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 Yeah.
4 hours. You got 4 hours to
Everyone's
watch.
just staring at their watch. No, that sounds great. So it's, again, an opportunity for the kids to get out and especially, or the young at heart, to get out and check out some great videos, or movies rather. Now, also, I just want to remind you that you can join us with the Hometown Movie Guys this morning on Facebook Live. We're also coming to you live there, and we're on for 30 minutes here on KRIM, and then we'll continue on for a little bit longer on Facebook Live as well. So feel free to chime in there. Beatrice is watching us right now, as a matter of fact.
This might be a good time to approach management and see if we can get on for a full hour.
I don't know if we can approach
We
management.
could strike like the Chicago teachers.
And probably have about as much luck. By the way, hi Linda, thanks for joining us this morning.
We'll squat out of the parking lot and refuse to come in.
Let's wait till the weather warms up.
We'll do that.
So many one-liners, so little time.
Could we pitch a tent?
So what else?
Sure.
What else is planned
Pitch a
at Sawmill Theaters today? But I
Well,
digress.
last week we had the little things opened up.
Right.
Denzel Washington, Rami Malek.
Oh.
These guys both came and watched it Friday, so
Okay.
turn it over to them.
Yeah.
So what'd you think?
I liked a lot of it.
Well, you don't like anything.
I like what are you saying? I'm like a softie. But there were some little weird stuff, which I don't want to be a spoiler. And I mean, Denzel is wonderful. Rami is good. Oh wait, the little things. I'm sorry of the other one. Oops, I loved it.
You know,
I haven't
this
had
getting old
enough
ain't for
coffee.
sissies.
Oh, man, I'm like, yeah, who are you? What am I doing here? No, actually, I'm sorry, I did love it. I
Okay.
loved all of it. Denzel is fantastic, Remy is fantastic, and the story and the ending, it's a story for intelligent people.
Wow.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Forget what I said in the beginning.
I think you were starting on the marksman there. Yeah?
That was it, the marksman,
Marksman,
yeah.
yes.
The marksman was a little rocky for me, but the little things was
Okay, well, let's switch gears for just a second. Now, as far as the marksman, who's in that?
It's Liam Neeson.
Oh, that's the new
Yes.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what was it about that got stuck in your craw?
There were some little moments that were just like, I was like, oh, please, Hollywood, do you have to do that? So
So-
I'll leave it at that, because I think people, it's good to go see it and
Leaving
be critical.
the envelope of believability, or?
Oh, even worse than that, but
Wow.
I shan't
Okay.
elaborate.
Yeah, I wrote this in my my movie review, so it's in public now.
Is that in today's Pacing Roundup?
No, it's a couple of weeks ago.
That was
Um,
previous.
For the marksman, there's a scene. You've got a grandpa age guy, Liam Neeson,
Yeah.
who has lost his ranch because he couldn't keep his payments up. Okay.
I hate
So,
when that happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a dreadful thing, and it happens to people
Sure.
sometimes. So he's got no money. He's deeply in debt, and he's partnered with a 10-year-old kid who is an orphan because his dad is dead and his mother has just been murdered by the narcotraficantes.
Easy for you to say.
So he's an orphan and he's penniless. Well, they end up with a whole sack full of
Spoiler alert.
narco money,
Yeah.
and they sit around the campfire and gleefully and virtuously burn it.
Yeah, because it's narco money, and even though it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, and homeless people are sitting under a bridge, that's what they're gonna do with hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm like, Hollywood, are you eat up? I mean, I won't go further than that, that's a construction term that my husband uses.
And let me just quickly say good morning to Mimi, Floor, Carl, Carrie, and Michaela, who just joined us. Appreciate you coming along this morning on Facebook Live. Yeah, so it does sound
It's
kind
like
of a.
virtue signaling on
I
steroids.
would-
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just stupid,
We're-
and
we're
there's no
sitting-
reason for it.
There's no reason except virtue signaling, and Andy and I are sitting next to each other, and I'm like, where in this universe would anybody do that? Except some characters created by super wealthy
Yeah.
Hollywood people who are so out of touch that, really, they're chewed. I mean, that's
There you
the
go.
short form of eat up.
So what about the other one, the first one we were talking about?
Whatever that.
Oh, the little things.
Little things.
Oh,
Little things.
oh,
yes,
yeah.
little things.
Yeah, go back,
Back to
circle
little
back.
things.
I'm gonna,
There you
can I channel our the press secretary? Can we circle back to that?
Yeah, so-
Yeah.
sure. Yes.
Okay.
Don't get me started talking about
Yeah, so we'll
that second.
circle back
Right.
to the little things, and that was super good. Everybody listening to my voice, and even not listening to my voice, because you can't stand it perhaps,
Right.
should go see it.
Oh,
It's wonderful,
very interesting.
really
By
wonderful.
the way, Nicole says, hi, love listening every Friday.
I love Nicole,
That's
I'm wearing the shirt.
Nicole down there from Black and Tan.
Yeah, I'm wearing the shirt.
That's why she watches every Friday. Just making sure she's got the shirt on.
She did this shirt.
So actually, that's we talked a little bit about that last week. I mean, some of the actors in that movie, I'm still trying to think of any bad movie that they've been in.
Denzel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about the Mighty Quinn, but that's a sort of
Well, I never saw that one, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a kind.
Denzel has 2 Academy Awards and I think another 4 or 6 nominations.
Yeah, he's the man.
Remick just got an Academy Award last year for Bohemian Rhapsody,
Oh, wow.
which I saw again on TV the other day, and it's just great, a great
I mean,
movie.
he is a Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, he definitely picked that up and ran with
Just
it.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
Leto
Oh, Jared Leto, yeah.
got an Academy Award for a movie called excuse me, the Dallas Buyers Club.
The
Oh,
Dallas
yes,
Buyers.
with
About-
Matthew
about-
McConaughey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about AIDS victims that smoke pot to ameliorate their pain,
Yes,
discomfort.
right.
But he got an Academy Award. So you got three kind of protagonists in this movie,
Mhm.
and all of them are actors of absolutely the first rank.
Yeah,
And I think it's fair to say that we just adore Denzel.
yes,
Right.
He's a-
do.
I watch him about once a week in one or the other of the Equalizer movies. It's on TV all the time.
Yeah, and the story is excellent.
Yeah, the writing,
Yeah, the denouement, which is the French for the unveiling at the end. It's so interesting, so interesting.
Yeah, this is not your regular cop movie.
No, it's a thinking person.
This is among the best written
Yes.
cop movies ever.
I agree.
Wow,
It's-
that's
I
quite a
agree.
statement.
Oh yeah, no,
I
it's,
agree.
it's right up there with
Andy Griffith, or?
Ooh, I don't want to go that far.
Snap.
Yeah, kind of stepping over things there just a little bit.
Right. That was the last one you saw.
Yeah, that's right. I try to keep up with all the current trends. Yeah.
I was going to say Mystic River, but
Yeah,
There you go.
I know, that was,
So what else rounds out the slate at the Sawmill Theaters today? I mean, just so we can cover that, because we have a great topic du jour. to
Yeah,
get to
well,
here.
we've got let's see, Wonder Woman is still there.
Ah, I was wondering about
Yeah,
that.
Wonder Woman 1984. We still got that one playing. We got The Croods is still there. 4 o'clock only on that one.
right?
That one dropped down. So and again, that was he said that was the last kids movie that came out, and that was Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So that's what kind of a stretch we're on there, and
Right.
and hence the kids classics.
I think having kids classics. I mean, that you can't go wrong with that. That ought to work out
Yeah,
well.
about $2.
Yeah.
I almost went for free, but yeah, $2. Come on.
$2. Make sure you buy 6 of the big bags of popcorn.
yeah, get the snack bar
Yeah.
there.
Plenty left over for popcorn. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah,
We still have News of the World.
Oh, okay.
Tom Hanks Western.
Yeah.
Great.
which was
everyone,
good, right?
Now, what was, in your opinion, Andy? What was the best thing about that movie?
I really like the little girl. She's
agree.
it's her first outing as an actress, and she was really good. And I also really seriously took to heart the historical sharpness of the movie. It happened immediately after the end of the Civil War,
Right.
during the administration of Ulysses S. Grant, and the social milieu of Texas at that time is really illuminated,
Yeah,
and it needs to be illuminated. There's some really bad stuff going on there,
Sure.
and they did shine the light on that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, good morning to Linda and Deborah, who's also joined us on Facebook Live. Look for, KRIM FM on your Facebook, and you'll be able to watch us live here with the Hometown Movie Guys. Now, and so does that round out the slate? We have more?
One more.
One more.
One more.
Little Mas?
Our friend.
our friend,
Yes, our friend. That's Dakota Johnson, Jason Segel,
yeah.
Casey Affleck.
Casey Affleck.
Casey
Oh,
Affleck in it.
my God.
So a
He's
great
great.
cast there. Great cast there. This is a serious film, but this is Dakota Johnson is diagnosed with terminal cancer, and Jason Segel is a friend that actually pretty much gives up or quits on his life and moves in with his friends to help them care for kids and everything too. And it is Jason Segel, so you're gonna have some comedy in it too. It's not just gonna be but it is a serious film. It is a serious film. But it looks like a good one. I think you guys are gonna watch it
We're gonna
today.
go see that today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
Yay,
In case you want to go to the movies with us.
come on
we'll-
guys,
we'll be
join
there
us
at
there,
1
we'll be
o'clock.
there. Yeah,
Sounds like fun.
And I'm going to be wearing long sleeves, just in case I need to wipe my eyes.
Ah, you're planning ahead again, are we?
I'll bring the Kleenex.
And that's just during the opening credits. Now
Or
the
closing credits.
and one of the things we want to talk a little about today, first of all, I want to just ask the question to begin with. and we'll ask Andy first, just because it's always a fun thing to do. Favorite kids movie of all time?
Oh, Home Alone.
Ooh,
Mm.
so you like all the violence in that. That was a good movie.
I like when Joe Pesci gets the can of paint in his face, which would have killed him, by the way.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, the what's the golly, it's
Mythbusters.
Mythbusters. Yeah, did you see that
Yeah,
episode where
yeah.
they showed what that actually would break your neck if you swung a full can of paint on a rope like that down the stairs? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But hey, made for a great movie. How about you, Tina? Favorite
Well,
kids movie of all
I
time?
love the Narnia movies.
Ooh, yeah, those were
And
cool.
I'm very fond of those.
Right,
Yeah.
those are great. And Craig,
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
Ooh,
That's a good
good.
choice.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, when Bambi first came out, my mom and the gal across the street and their daughter and I all went to a drive-in theater, and I was like 6, so I was really into drive-ins. No, it wasn't that movie.
There's a kids movie for you.
We went and saw
They did the
Bambi,
better than ugly. Yeah.
and I it was kind of interesting, but man, when all of a sudden, Bambi's mom or dad gets taken out. I mean, that was like,
Yeah, a lot of those old Disney films were a little
Yeah.
depressing. And,
Yeah.
that was back in the day, and they did Where the Red Fern Grows.
oh,
And,
right.
Yeller.
Oh,
and,
Yeller.
Yeah, like oh my God, these things
Right.
were
Yeah.
just brutal.
Also, if you think about the movie Enchanted, one of my favorite all-time movies,
Mhm.
that's a great kids movie,
Yeah.
and it's a great adult movie. It really works for everything, and
Right.
my husband and I love it, and we show it often.
And I know, I'm not sure that this is your favorite kids movie of all time, but I'm sure that you've seen it more than any other, and that's Frozen.
Oh, Frozen. Yeah. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah. By the way, good morning to Eva, Catherine, and Carrie Lee, who are joining us on Facebook Live. Asking the folks on Facebook too. Let us know what your favorite kids movie of all time, or as a kid, what you thought was a great movie. I know another.
Well, as a kid,
Right.
what
They had movies back then.
would have been. Ooh.
Also,
Honestly, I still don't really realize that I'm old. So,
Well, I'm in denial too.
Get a hand crank projector.
There you go.
but there was a movie with I can't remember his name now. The guy played Matt Dillon on TV.
James Arness.
Oh,
James
James
Arness.
Arness.
James
Yeah.
Arness, a movie that I saw as a child that I just thoroughly enjoyed and still really appreciate to this day, called Them. It was about ants the size of a Chevrolet that were loose in the sewers in Los Angeles.
I have an aunt about that size.
And that was, for some reason, I
Aunt
really,
or an aunt.
I just really enjoyed that movie as a child.
Oh, very interesting.
You are weirder than
Yeah, I know, as a
I
kid-
knew how weird you were.
I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but as a kid, another movie that I probably now have seen, I don't, dozens of times, but every time it comes on, I still find myself wanting to watch it, and it's not that one, but is Spencer's Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great old movie.
Yeah.
Another one of those too, where all of a sudden the tree falls on Grandpa, and I'm like, anyway.
Well, and Swiss Family Robinson.
Oh, there you go.
Those were,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of the old movies. that-
And
Or Space Family Robinson.
yeah, there you go. Will Dr. Smith? No, that's a different show. Now
I
the
liked all the gizmos in
Oh,
Swiss
yeah,
Family
yeah.
Robinson.
Yeah.
They the dumbwaiters that they worked up for their treehouse, and they had flowing water coming from bamboo pipes and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. They're very clever in the way they put that together.
Well, and the old Little Women, that was a great, maybe more.
I like the new one.
Maybe more of a chick flick. I'm not so sold on the new one, but the old one was really wonderful.
One of the things I liked about the new one is the daddy had responsibilities. He had
Yes.
all these little girls. He had the wife. He was old,
Mhm.
and he gave all of that up
Yes.
to go and in the scourge of slavery.
Yes,
He did it as a deliberate moral principle, and darn near died.
yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was.
What's
that
a
was-
wonderful story.
Yeah,
It
and I
really
thought
is.
that was remarkable, that somebody would actually do that, and it was not uncommon,
Mhm.
in that day.
Mhm. And then what about National Velvet? I love that.
Ooh,
as a
there's one that
kid.
goes back a few years,
National
yeah.
Velvet with Elizabeth Taylor, the
They
divine
had the very young,
child,
yeah.
Elizabeth Taylor. Yeah,
Wow.
I love that movie.
I forgot all about that one. That was what, in the 40s?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then as a kid, I loved the Marx Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get all
Most
the
ridiculous
jokes.
thing I ever heard.
Yeah, I didn't get all the jokes. As I
You
grew
weren't
older,
supposed
I got.
to.
No, I know, but I mean those are wonderful movies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about TV shows as a kid that you found, something that you had to,
Well,
Go back to-
I'm depraved on account of I'm deprived because I lived overseas where there was no TV.
okay.
So
Well,
I'll have to
but-
punt to my colleague here.
I certainly enjoyed Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen,
Wow.
and oddly enough, some years later, my favorite rock and roll group adopted that name.
I was gonna say,
Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen.
Right.
And so,
I'm-
it's funny how things fold together.
I never realized it had been a TV show.
Yeah, that's where they got the name for
I've
it.
led such a sheltered life.
Yeah.
How about you? When you were a kid, Craig, was there, a show that, you just had to get in front of the tube for?
In the evening, MASH.
Oh, MASH, there you go.
Oh, please, yeah,
For reruns during the day, Gilligan's Island.
yeah.
Gilligan's Island. I was a Gilligan's Island junkie as a kid. Yeah, that, and then of course, this is only pertinent to people that maybe grew up in Arizona. The rest of the world probably wouldn't remember them at all. But Wallace and Ladmo.
Oh,
I mean, they had
yeah.
the longest running kids show in the States, I believe. And as a kid, always watched that and everything, and it was a trip because 43 or so years ago, prior to moving to Payson, I had a video production business in the Valley and ended up partnering with Bill Thompson, is Wallace's real name.
Oh,
Ended up partnering with him and shooting some Civil War reenactments and everything, and ended up being able to go down to the Channel 5 studios and watch them tape the show, and it was always a lot of fun. A little strange side note, I don't know if I've mentioned before, but they would, the show wasn't live, they would, pre-record it, but they would, when they go to a commercial break, the tape would keep rolling, and they would go down for 2 or 3 minutes of black or whatever, which is where they would afterwards insert the commercials. And they went for years without ever stopping tape. I mean, it was a lot of good improvisational stuff, and it was a blast to go in and actually see them, in action. But it was also really embarrassing because the first time we were there, my partner and I are sitting in the background, we're watching all this going on, and all of a sudden Ladmo goes, "Hey, it's Randy and the guys from Fast Forward Video," and the cameras turn around. It's like, oh crap! I didn't really want to be seen here, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. They were great people to get to
I
know.
was getting ready for school.
Yeah.
When I was getting ready for school every morning, to watch some Wallace and Ladmo,
Wow.
some Looney Tune cartoons.
That's right.
And Bugs Bunny and
Oh,
Roadrunner and Coyote. Yeah.
I think we need more
Classics.
violence in cartoons
I
like we
think
used to
we
have.
just
Well,
need
we-
more violence generally.
We have a Tom and Jerry movie coming up,
Yeah.
hopefully
Ew.
sometime soon.
Yeah, well, it looks like February 26th.
Okay.
New Tom and Jerry.
I wonder if they're still going to be trying to throw a meat cleaver at the other one and stuff like that, like they used to do.
Yeah. Well, watched the trailer, of course, only, but I did see Tom fall off of a building, so maybe
Hey.
a little bit there.
Ty is watching with us this morning. He said, as a kid, I loved My Side of the Mountain.
Oh, yeah,
I don't remember that one.
I do.
I don't either.
I do.
Huh, interesting.
It was
Also, Ty said, $6 Million Man, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Those
There
were
we go,
those were
yeah.
biggies back in the day. Gosh,
Yeah.
that we're all
Happy Days.
dating ourselves here.
Yeah,
Happy
Oh,
Days.
Happy
Yeah,
with Laverne and
Days,
Shirley,
yeah,
those,
yeah.
yeah. DeFon's. Hey.
Yeah, Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's had quite a storied career.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just yeah.
Yeah, he's
Did you ever
great.
see Night Shift?
Yes,
Something about that sounds familiar.
The
Yes.
The morgue. Yeah, they were
yes.
having parties. In the
Sorta, yeah.
It's making lemons out of, or lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So, when you think back of TV shows, there's, even just a decade or two ago, compared to what's on TV now, things have really changed.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the bigger understatements I'll make this week, in that anymore, there's just not, maybe I'm just turning into an old curmudgeon or something.
Well, I think that's true.
Well, it's entirely possible. But I'm in
remember
denial.
You Bet Your Life with Groucho Marx?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, my word, that man was the best.
right.
Yeah, and you know how he was taken off. Yes.
Tell the story.
A lovely lady came in, and the format of the show was having guests on to win a prize, but really the point of having them on was that they would do shtick with, and everything was off the cuff. Nothing, hardly anything was.
SCH.
Yeah, nothing was scripted. So this lovely lady comes on, and he, is doing the introduction, meeting her. Are you married? Yes. Do you have children? Yes, I have 8 children. And he says, 8 children? And she said, well, I love my husband. And he said, well, I love my cigar, but I take it out once in a while.
Yeah, that'll end the
And
show
that
real
was
quick.
it.
That's a good line, though. I mean,
That was his
He
last
was-
show.
He was gone. But because it was live, it actually went out over the air. So, yeah, I love it.
Our social norms have changed. Obviously, it's changed tremendously. Remember All in the Family?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, if you
oh,
go-
there you go.
Could you get
Yeah.
away with Archie Bunker
Yeah,
these
I
days?
just went right to the top of my favorite.
Well, if you go to
Yeah.
YouTube, I mean, there's some
Oh,
some
my word.
clips on there, and
My dad made Archie Bunker look like a screaming liberal.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of my dad too. It was, but there's yeah.
Oh, you could never get away with that now. I mean, just,
Well, but going back to the cartoons and stuff, even the subject matter of cartoons, I mean, there was a lot more violence and things like that. And I don't know that, we necessarily turned out too terribly sick and twisted as a result of watching that, which is what they're saying now as they try and change some of the content.
Itchy and Scratchy is
Speak
much
for
more
yourself,
much more
sir.
violent than Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. So we turned out the way we should have.
They were cartoons, though. I mean, Roadrunner and Coyote. I mean, were it was, I guess, violent, but I mean, it was cartoon violence.
And I watched them religiously as a kid, and I still, to this day, have never played with TNT.
Yeah.
So,
But it's on your bucket list.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it is. One of these 4th of Julys, it's going to be epic, yeah. No, but at any rate, it is kind of interesting. And when it comes to the topics of movies these days as well, I mean, there's things, and we've talked about this a few different times, but I mean, you could never do another movie and get away with it like Blazing Saddles, yet I think it's one of the funnier movies that's ever been produced.
Absolutely.
thought-
And the producers,
Yeah.
with the song Springtime for Hitler.
No, there you go.
Yeah, with, goose-stepping chorus girls, guys, yeah. And Mel Brooks wrote all the music for all of his movies. So he's
An
Multifaceted.
underappreciated genius.
Oh, he's a genius. He's really, love him.
And getting back to the cartoons, though, if you kind of disassemble the Bugs Bunny cartoons, I mean, he's mimicking movie stars of the day, and it's really funny. It's not really funny now because you don't know, that he's doing Tallulah Bankhead or something, But back in the 40s, it was hysterical, and the grown-ups would look at this. Oh, look at that! Oh, look at you, just like her, isn't it? And it's chock full of cultural references of the era.
Yes, and a lot of kids learned about classical music through the cartoons. There were all kinds of references to classical music, pieces that were presented. It was a great cultural uplift.
And of course, then there's also Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
Let's put Mr. Hipster in the microwave. That's severe radiation. Can you say that? Severe
Oy
radiation.
vey.
Sadly, we're out of time on KRIM right now, but we are going to
Sure,
continue
sadly, but-
on Facebook Live, and we hope you'll join us there for perhaps a bit more irreverent look at your hometown movie, guys. But we got to get you here on the radio, back to more of your favorite music. Have some tunes coming up. Have a number of tunes coming up for you. As a matter of fact, from Led Zeppelin, Paul McCartney and Wings, and a whole bunch more. But first, a quick look at Rim Country weather.
You gotta go?
Did you know that,
What's that?
did you know that Paul McCartney was in a band before he was in Wings?
Good news, well,
The Beatles, but there was another band too. There was one in between the Beatles and that.
Brian.
Somebody else was just
passed away a
talking
couple
in
weeks
here
ago.
about this the other day. There was.
But when it's happened,
Was
they
it
were
you?
like, was there anything
Probably,
that
yeah.
we had it?
There was another
Why?
band in
It's
between, and I don't
First
remember what
I
it was
was
called.
No, that's not really.
Yeah.
I hadn't
place.
heard of it, but there was a
I
particular
thought about it a little
song
bit. I was like, you know what?
that
He's
they
got
were
a,
referencing that was actually done
Godfather
by that
poster?
band. I don't recall what it was.
and he's got a
Anyway.
Ghost in the Darkness poster. We're getting. Sounds like we're gonna get a couple posters for the theater. Some old
Some vintage stuff.
a Godfather poster.
Yeah.
Um, And then a Ghost in the Darkness poster signed by Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer.
Wow.
Wow.
So, oh my gosh, that's
so-
great. I know you talked about those. So good.
Yeah.
I don't suppose we can talk publicly about how you come up with that kind of stuff, can we?
Well,
Yeah,
no.
not really.
I've kind of inherited these, but
I
Yeah.
kind of love it, man. That would be great.
That's
oh
so
yeah, they're
appropriate.
well, the Godfather. That's
Oh my word.
That's
Yeah.
as far as a movie that it seems like everyone has seen. I'm trying to think of a movie that would be higher on the list than.
That's what we talked about mobster movies last week, and Godfather's one of the highest rated films of all time, and generally spoken of as one of the top 10 films.
Absolutely.
I think it's safe to
I
call it a
agree.
top 10 film of all time.
Right.
I agree.
Where in there you could argue, but that was a great movie, and that was what, 72?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, and boy, the cast in that was
72, yeah.
amazing
Something
too.
like that, yeah.
I mean, James Caan. I love James.
Friends
Caan.
don't tell friends that 1972 was actually 49 years ago.
Ooh.
Oh,
I really like Rollerball.
I do too.
People, James
Yeah.
Conner with
Yeah, I
that
love
original
James
Rollerball.
Caan.
That
Yeah, and
That
Thief.
just
You know what?
broke my heart. That
It was,
honest
yeah.
to God, when Moon Pie was murdered by the Japanese team. Oh, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
Was it the spike gloves? It
yeah, it was
punched
just
him, took him
awful,
out,
just
took him out.
awful.
And then James Caan was in one of my favorite movies by Michael Mann, one of my favorite directors, Thief, with Tuesday Weld.
Wow.
That was such a good movie, and it has music by Tangerine Dream. Just a beautiful, lyrical. Michael Mann is such a good director.
You
And
know-
he did Miami Vice, and we were going to talk about Miami Vice.
Right. I was also, I think I commented a couple weeks ago, but another movie that from sadly far too many years ago that I liked all the music from was Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
As a
Yeah.
really weird and twisted movie, but I enjoyed it.
well, Kubrick did. He used classical music. I mean, think about 2001: A Space Odyssey,
Sure.
where he used "Thus Spake Zarathustra," and he used the Strauss waltz when he was landing the spacecraft. Oh my word! It's just amazing scene, really amazing.
That Clockwork Orange, that was all MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Those were
Yeah.
those were real experiments
Exactly.
that were happening in the 60s, where they were
Yep.
sleep deprivation and,
Yep.
and massive doses of LSD, and
Yeah.
trying to they were kind of testing
Reprogram
they were
people.
kind of
Yeah.
testing the limits of the human psyche and what we could handle and what we
When
couldn't.
you're outside at
and,
night, and instead of watching the stars twinkle, you listen to them crackle.
it was kind of some dark stuff, really. But
No, yeah, exactly. That was
and then that
yeah.
was
way creepy.
oh,
Yeah.
That's too
Well,
weird.
Kubrick was really, I mean,
it was
Dr. Strangelove? Come on.
Yeah. I'd be an interesting person to maybe sit around the dinner table with and talk to for a little while.
Maybe.
Well, a lot of those guys were
Yeah.
brilliant, but
Out there.
fairly
Well, with
twisted,
brilliance
you know.
comes,
Yeah.
some other baggage.
Exactly. Romero, it's,
Oh, George Romero. Yeah,
some of his
really.
zombie
Yeah.
stuff and things were Dawn of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead, the first one he did.
Well,
that-
Night,
that-
Night of the Living
Night-
Dead.
Night of the Living
and then
Dead, yeah,
Dawn
they
of
did Night of
the,
the-
then
yeah,
Dawn
Night
of
of
the
the Living
Dead. Yeah,
But the guy was, you know.
yeah. He was.
Yeah, there's some kind of
Yeah.
disturbing stuff that went with him.
The
And
weird,
then
I think
Rob-
the toughest part to figure on that is like, you got this really unusual storyline, and yet you can go find someone to pitch it to, and they say, okay, here's the money.
Well, that was not true of Night of the Living Dead.
So, shoestring.
I mean,
Yeah.
not even a shoestring.
Yeah.
They were looking for a shoestring.
You're right.
But
It's true, it's black and white. I mean, it's just, low budge.
yeah, there's
Added the creepiness though.
Yeah.
What about that one movie?
There's one scene towards the end of the movie where you've got a whole herd of zombies heading for the house. One of the zombies is topless, and not one of them got a penny. They were just friends of Romero's or acquaintances of Romero's that just thought it would be fun to be a zombie in a movie. And
You are who your friends are, I guess.
Yeah.
What about that one
speaking
movie
of-
here a while back, though, that was speaking of movies that were done on a shoestring, it was made to look like somebody was trying to do a down and dirty documentary.
The Blair-
Paranormal Activity.
Well, the Blair Witch Project.
Blair Witch
Oh, Blair
Project.
Witch,
Yeah,
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 it was-
that
yeah.
one, yeah.
I mean, they spent
With a handheld camera.
they spent almost nothing on
Yeah.
it, and it really
Right.
it sold
Well,
huge.
Paranormal Activity was one that was
Yeah,
$15,000. It was
Oh,
it was a
jeez.
it was a college project,
Yeah.
and it made $100 million. It's still the highest return on any film.
I'd like
Is
to
that
do one
You
of
know,
those.
well, $15,000, you
Sure.
get $100 million back. That's a
That's pretty good ROI.
yeah.
Cloverfield.
Well, they're doing another one. They're going to do a sequel to that one.
Well,
Really?
they already did 10 Cloverfield Lane.
10 Cloverfield Lane. They're going to.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's
Do another
JJ.
one.
That's JJ Abrams' kind of weird little project he's doing, but
He's an
yeah, he's
interesting
going to crank
guy.
that one out.
Yeah.
The older one was Halloween. Jamie Lee
yeah,
Curtis.
yeah.
That was. I think they made that for like $30,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Go
Oh, wait,
go
really? For 30 grand?
Well, go watch it again, and you'll. If you look at it, you can see. I mean, it was just a.
Clunky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was.
Right.
It was.
I was always so busy watching Jamie Lee Curtis, I really never.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was.
Hard to blame you for that.
Yeah, she was something.
Was that her first? That might have been her first
I
film.
think it was. her
So
breakout.
she got. She didn't really get paid for it, and no one knew this thing, and it was just. They said sometimes though that kind of clunkiness.
Mhm.
Somehow
Adds
adds
to
to
the-
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes it better.
Okay, I've got something I just learned yesterday, as a matter of fact. Gal Gadot is currently in the theater with Wonder Woman 84. The original Wonder Woman
Linda.
with Gal Gadot
Oh.
from a few years ago, she didn't get paid very much. And I found out yesterday that the guy in Sharknado 5 got more money for Sharknado 5 than she got for Wonder Woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know you're a
Well,
fan of the Sharknado movies. They don't spend much money on those either.
Well, sometimes they do. These actors, they don't take very much in their salaries, but then they get a cut.
Right.
A cut after, and that was The Shining.
Oh, yeah.
No, well, not in the movie. Jack Nicholson.
Right.
Jack Nicholson, that first Batman movie.
Mhm.
He took a very low salary on that, and he took a cut of the profits though,
I bet he
and
did
he
well.
ended up. Oh, I think it was like $100 million he made off that.
Wow.
Wow.
Keanu Reeves, I think, did
What a
that
joker,
with-
right?
Matrix.
For The Matrix. Keanu Reeves too. He took a low cut on that, and those movies.
I still find that movie to be pretty interesting. Real quick, need to say hi to Mark, Tracy, Marty, Sylvia, Christy, and Kendrick, who are all joining us on
Yay.
Facebook Live. Appreciate you coming along.
I was just gonna circle back.
Sure. Time for another press conference.
Yes, to twisted directors who made amazing movies. Roman Polanski. I mean, I do not like the guy. He's a creep. But man, he made Chinatown, Rosemary's Baby, The Pianist. He's amazing director. He really is. But very,
Once again, it goes back to your comment.
Yeah.
Sometimes with a lot of brilliance comes a lot of strange
Well,
baggage.
Yeah.
We've talked about Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of the strange
before,
baggage.
yeah, and you knew, right?
Yeah, who was your friend that?
Tippy
Tippy
Hedren.
Hedren.
You know, I just read
He just
yesterday.
tortured her, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I just read yesterday there was another actress. She quit
Mhm.
Hollywood in 1966, and she had done some film with Alfred Hitchcock, and she got out of Hollywood and
Well, with Tippy, she was basically blacklisted in Hollywood because she wouldn't do certain things with,
Well,
what's his face. So, I mean, that's kind of sick and twisted. The neat thing is, by the way, for those of you that even remember who Tippy Hedren is from The Birds, she just turned 90-something this last week. And one of the things I noticed on her Facebook page is she has recently been given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yay. And
Which
she is
she
Melanie
deserves it.
Griffith's
Yeah.
mother
Right,
and Dakota Johnson's grandmother.
right.
And Dakota Johnson is in the theater
Theater.
And
today.
it was
Where we're gonna go see that.
such a
Yeah.
trip to be in her
Yay.
home,
I
drinking coffee and chocolates, and looking around at pictures of Antonio Banderas on the wall and Melanie Griffiths.
Her,
and
her
stuff.
son-in-law.
And
right?
and Tippy's really just a
Yeah.
very sweet woman. I
Well,
really enjoy
she
her.
does a lot of work too for animals.
She Shambhala, her
Yeah.
preserve.
Right.
When we were there, my wife and I, she had 65 lions and tigers,
Oh my
as
goodness.
well as a couple of elephants and a few other things. But
Wow.
and
I like
that all
elephants.
started with them that originally having a large cat in the house. And there was a documentary done on this, and the one guy who was very much involved in it was close to her and actually was partially scalped by one of the
No.
cats.
Ooh.
That's when they decided, maybe we ought to take a slightly different approach.
Yeah.
and-
it
but,
seems that sort of thing happens when you're
Yeah.
playing with lions and tigers.
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah.
And bears.
Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about the guy, the guy who went up to,
Tiger King guy.
yeah, the Tiger King, yeah, and also the guy Timothy Treadwell, who went up to be with the bears and said how warm and fuzzy they were and ended up getting
Oh,
eaten.
Yeah, up in Alaska, yeah.
Yeah, in Alaska.
Oh, you know, there's a-
right, yeah.
there's
And the bears said, we like him with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
You know, there's an audio tape. Apparently
yeah.
they were
I've heard
filming
it.
when that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
It's
it's just dreadful.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
camera got tipped over, so
But the
thankfully
audio
that
was
oh
on.
the audio was just
Yeah, where they were eating him.
yeah where they were
You know,
they
he
were,
was
you know,
dancing with them and playing with them, and he was all, you
Well,
know,
that would-
kumbaya, warm and
well they
fuzzy.
killed him and his
And his
girlfriend.
girlfriend,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That would bite. Sorry, that's all I got.
Well, she's oh, it's,
It's
yeah,
horrible.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
If you want to be disturbed, listen to that one.
yeah, I guess. So we've covered a lot of different territory.
Okay, so Tippy Hedren,
Yeah.
how do you say her name?
Hedren.
Hedren.
Yeah.
Tippy Hedren spawned Melanie Griffith.
Yes.
Correct.
Melanie Griffith spawned Dakota Johnson.
Right.
Dakota,
With Don Johnson
with Don Johnson.
of Miami Vice.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Dakota Johnson is in the movie that we'll be seeing today, Our Friend.
Yeah.
But more culturally impactful, she starred in the 50 Shades movies.
Did she?
Yes, all three of them. And
Oy vey.
I never saw those.
well,
I'm so glad
by
those are
Troy.
gone.
it's a yeah, it's a
Oh, those were
Oh,
a specific
they were. We're talking about a nightmare for a theater manager.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah,
oh
really,
yeah,
seriously.
kids sneaking
the
into
kids
those.
trying to sneak
Yeah.
into those things. It was
Oh,
just
man.
oh my
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it was.
I was never intrigued enough to even want
Oh,
to watch.
man.
$1,322,000,000 at the box office.
I
So
fear- I
obviously
fear for
somebody
my-
enjoyed watching
I
it.
fear for my species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. By the way, Dory says, "Hey, went to the show yesterday. It was good to be there, and we didn't get more people out to the Sawmill theaters."
Come watch a movie.
Yeah, come on. We got a bunch
Come
of
to the
them.
theater.
Including, we need to reiterate here before we're out of time, got special kids movies today where you can get in for $2. at 1 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock
I
and
think we did
6
this
o'clock.
once before.
Yeah, regular movies.
2 o'clock, $2.
Yep,
Two.
2 o'clock.
Two.
Yep. Surf's up at 2
Two
o'clock
dollar.
and Happy
Two dollar.
Feet at 6 o'clock.
And still $2 at
Yay.
6.
$2 at 6.
$2,
Yeah.
$2.
Yeah, right.
All right, gotta love it. And Valerie joining us. Good morning, Valerie. Thanks for coming along. There's always good stuff to watch at the Sawmill Theaters, and you know it's important to get out there. And it's such a great facility, and I know we've all enjoyed it over the years. Now with the hospitalized numbers going way down from COVID-19, the death rate going way down, and everything, it's people are starting to see that it's time to get back out and try and get closer to whatever normal is supposed to be. And you're still doing the social distancing thing there at the
Oh yeah,
theaters?
we're still at 50% capacity. We've got every other row blocked off. There's plenty of spacing in there. We've only approached that 50% capacity a few times, so people are still a little not quite coming back like we'd hoped they would, but it's starting to slowly pick up.
Get out there and do it. They need your support, and plus there's a lot of great things to watch, and you can always find out what's playing and when it's playing.